от сигарет кружится, как тези споры. Тонкий английский лед, под ним кипящее море. Рюмка на полпальца, где-то усталая печень. Но он опять рвется в зал, как будто последняя встреча. Жесткое вино разума обжигает, но будет спящих каждое слово, как выстрел в зал. И не осталось священных щелей, где бы он тихо промолчал. Где-то в Багдаде жара тонет в сарказме и прозе. Он пишет, как режет ножом, по мифам на белой бумаге. В студиях, в старых барах, в маленьких залах кампусов он ставит под роспись богов и веру сдает под авансом. Жесткое вино разума обжигает, но будет спящих каждое слово, как выстрел в зал. И не осталось священных щелей, где бы он тихо промолчал. Тело слабеет, голос сипит, но шутка выходит точнее. Он поднимает стакан и говорит: поверим, кого соберет скорее. Публика держит дыхание, он не дает ей надежд, только упрямая дак сомнений.
Good
nice,
job.
peaceful.
You've already messed up already.
Okay.
People, listen.
Don't listen to that
We just
voice
accept.
behind the screen.
There we go. There we
Okay.
go.
Right. So anyway, everybody, yes, isn't it nice and peaceful, this planet? Everything's going just fine. Not really. Anyway, if you've landed on this channel and you're on YouTube, this is a channel called Divided We Stand. Very small channel, but we are not monetized, which means you receive the premium benefits of not having to see advertisements. Isn't that nice? That's right. And we're not looking for money. We have a small channel, less than 600 members, although it is kind of growing. So we do ask that you subscribe and that you partake in our discussion, because without you, Dave and I just might as well call each other and talk about politics and shoot the shit. That's right. And of course, we are on Facebook also. You can find us there. Again, it's not monetized. You won't find any kind of sales pitch or merch that we're trying to sell. It's just us. And you can find us there. Very, very popular page. We've got over 1,600 members and growing. And it's a private page, so you won't find any Trumpers there unless they sneak through. So we just ask that you subscribe to our channel on YouTube and that you become a member on Facebook. Yeah, so just look for Divided We Stand on Facebook. There'll probably be a few pages like that, but you'll see when you see a guy with a beaver on top of his head with a MAGA hat, then you'll know that's us. So in any case, this is what, Sunday the 21st, the solstice or whatever. I guess the first day of summer or something like that. And
Good. Anthony's already told everybody that, but you can repeat it.
all right. Well, by the way, that's our executive producer behind the scenes. If you have any problems with any of the postings or this or that, contact him. And the good thing about him is he works late at night, so you can call him anytime. Just look him up and you'll find him and call him. If it's 3 a.m, he'll take care of the business. He's fantastic. So I'm going to introduce him now. It's our late night warrior at the keyboard. It's David Price, educator, former educator, and former musician.
What's nice, Brian, is you'll be able to do all those things
Right.
starting next Sunday too.
That's
because
right.
if anybody doesn't know, education is getting better next week when Brian Weinstein, after 742 years in the classroom, is going to step aside and let somebody competent teach. Now, currently, his replacement is being prepared. His replacement is Coco the Wonder Chimp. He's in the Chicago Zoo. He'll be moving to Bridgeton, and guaranteed the students will benefit from having Coco and not Brian.
All right. So get used to. Coco's a gorilla or a chimpanzee?
He's dead, but he was
Oh, he
a
was.
gorilla.
So a dead
No,
gorilla's a better teacher.
No,
That's
they
okay.
say
Coco, I know what you're talking about. That's silverback gorilla,
Yeah.
right?
No, I mean, he did sign language. You know, he was smarter than Donald Trump, but so is the algae. But we'll talk about that. too.
Right. But it is true. Dave is correct. I will be retiring after this week, so it's my last week of work as I knew it. I'm technically still employed by the district, so I guess I still am not retired officially at this point in time. But next week is something different. Joey Folter has just typed in the word old. Yes, Joey, I know you are old now, and that's a shame, but, all of us get older, Joey, and we still don't know Joey's exact age because each year he tells us something different. He's kind of got a little bit of Trump in him when it comes to dates and who his brother is and where his brother went to school. But in any case, Dave, oh my God, what a week, and it hasn't ended yet, apparently.
No. This recently, okay, let's try it this way. We put up with Trump in D.C. for 4 years. And literally, when I say put up, we did. It's one thing, Trump's an equal opportunity damager. He damages the world, he damages the country, but a lot of what he damages is first here in D.C. because that's where he lives. So, then we got President Biden, and, my feelings on President Biden. I'm very grateful that he was able to defeat Trump. I think overall he was a good president, but I also fault him somewhat from not doing what he said he was going to do or indicate what he was going to do. He was going to be a transitional president. And instead, and I understand, I think there were a couple things going on. One was,
And he didn't fire Merrick Garland. That would have been nice.
well, that will go down as a faux pas of epic proportions.
Right.
Merrick Garland was a bad choice, no question. But it is hard. I've never been president of the United States, and thank God. But it is the most powerful position in the world, or was until Donald Trump.
Until he came in, right?
Yeah, until the second term. And so, for one thing, I think Biden thought he was doing pretty good, and there were indications that he were. Secondly, he missed the idea of it's the economy. When he was talking about good economic news, it was good for the stock market. Not so good for the everyday person. Much better, of course, than we now have with Trump.
Right.
The other thing is, we all get, you laugh, Joe, you were telling Joe he was old. At 73.
Joe is goddamn old, yeah.
Sure. I'm 73, and I'm in relatively good shape, but I'm not as sharp as I was in my 60s. There's something that happens in your 70s, and you begin to not be just as sharp. And so Biden, I think, the age caught up to him, obviously. And the final thing, though, is I think it's just the power of the presidency. I mean, it's hard to step. You're number one in the world. It's like the athlete, right? The athlete is 41. Well, that's pretty old.
Right,
Maybe
right.
you should step aside. And we've seen it with athletes. It's nothing new.
Especially the high intensity sports.
But this is a high intensity job too. The president of the United States, I would assume, there's no more, what would you say, pressure filled position. Sort of the old saying is, whatever you do, half the country's going to love you, half the country's going to hate you. My theory is now a little different than that. A third of the country is going to love you, a third of the country is going to hate you, and a third of the country doesn't care. And that's where we fight, to get followers and people that I don't care, I don't do politics, all that. Anyway, but now Trump has come in, and almost on a daily basis, he does something that horrifies, destroys, damages D.C. as a city. And that's been really all this summer. You've had two of the big things going. Well, actually three that lead to that. Now, two of them are in the past. No, they're never in the past here. So what three am I talking about? Well, of course, the UFC fiasco. I hope that everyone has seen on Facebook an aerial view of what the White House on the ellipse side looks like now. It's horrible. It's horrid. It'll be millions of dollars to resod it, put it back in shape. That was the only thing you can say about the UFC fight is it does capture Donald Trump's America. Okay. Yes. I mean, that part it did. Now, the question is Donald Trump's America what we want? Is it Donald Trump's America what we should have?
Or is it what's going to be shoved down our throats?
My answer is a resounding no. That was one. Then, of course, we had the Kennedy Center, where a judge ordered Mr. Trump had taken upon himself. And Brian, it's really interesting because he does so much that it's hard to keep up with. But even in that. So what did he do at the Kennedy Center? Number one, he named himself chairman. He is the chairman of the Kennedy Center. There's no way the president of the United States should be chairman of the Kennedy Center. There's just it's not a job important enough for the president, right? But it's very important for the arts because the Kennedy Center is the nation's capital of the art world or art community. Now, then he fires some board members and packs the board with his own people. I think it's like, I don't know. He has a majority.
Much like his government.
Much like his government. Then he comes along. And of course, because of that, people went. I say this story, but tonight is kind of about D.C., so I will say it. Since Donald Trump put his name on the Kennedy Center, my wife Judy and I have said 1, 1, 1, 1. That's not 1, 1, 1, 1. That's a single show there. We went after grave soul searching. We just, but if anyone's been in the Kennedy Center, or you can imagine, the second largest theater in there is the Opera House. So it's not as big as the largest, obviously. That night, in the first 4 rows, Brian, there were 2 people. There's about 20 boxes. We sit in the center. It's about 20 boxes, right? Not one person in the box. So the Kennedy Center was, once Trump took over, it was like everything else. And I've posted this numerous times, but he is exactly the title of a...
And he couldn't anticipate that. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the intelligence for that. He's I'm going to shove this back in your face, and you're going to show up. But no, we're not showing up.
Well, what was interesting, or what is so interesting is, his value is only about himself, and his value about himself is only about money. So, he didn't care about that. In terms of dropping what he, he didn't. I don't think he anticipated. I don't think he anticipates anything. But the idea was, they had some fundraisers there for him. Wow. Okay. Anyway, a federal judge ruled that when he placed his name on the Kennedy Center, so it was the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy, Performance and Arts Building. Well, first of all, Trump put his name first, but that is only because you couldn't rearrange the letters, but he would have done that anyway.
Right.
But again, a lot of things are missed. That was not just a performance center. That was a JFK memorial, the same as George Washington Monument, the same as the Lincoln Memorial, the same as the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. So Trump might as well have said the Donald J. Trump and Abraham Lincoln Memorial, or Donald J. Trump and the George Washington Monument.
Right.
So it was far, and then the outrage in the community. At first, it was kind of shock, and then one after another, acts pulled out. Right now, the National Symphony Orchestra is kind of homeless. The National Opera is homeless. Now, the things that did go on, and they helped out various other venues, right? Because they put their shows on there, but it's just not the same. So he pretty much destroyed the Kennedy Center. Well, then he had to figure out. He said, "Well, it's pretty bad. The reason I took it over was we're going to close it for 2 years,
right.
2 years, and fix it." Now, I've been in there. Is it? I don't know the infrastructure behind it or the interior, but it certainly was fine as far as going to it, which of course it didn't need. And the judges also ruled that he cannot do that the Kennedy Center cannot be closed. That's something a lot of people don't know. So not only did he have to, finally, the deadline was June 12th, something like that. Whatever the deadline was, he pushed it to the very last day. Midnight came, he had removed it, but he put up scaffolding, and people were out there by the hundreds waiting, cheering, whatever. And Brian, at 3 a.m. on June 13th, right, not June 12th, they finally take the lettering off. But they put a tarp up that covers the whole area where, and of course the lettering was big.
So in other words, if my name can't go up there, nobody's name can go up there.
Basically, yes. That's exactly it. Well, there were a couple problems with that. It covered up one of the major access openings. So they cut a hole in the tarp. But those of us who went out there, and there were a lot of us, it is off. Some people believe it's not, but it is, okay? The letters have been removed, but the tarp is still up. But even there, one of the things, even in the worst of times, you see some really creative protests happening here. Last night, a group went out and threw on the tarp pictures of Trump and Epstein and other Ludnick and other people associated with the Epstein files. So it became a screen blasting Trump for the covering that he put up for something he did illegally. So it just, it will go on. Now, I don't know what that will impact him to do. Will he take it down? Will he leave it up? Will he arrest the people for defacing a tarp? I don't know. But anyway, so we have this horrible destruction. But of course, the big story this week, Brian, was the fiasco, and that's putting it mildly, of Donald Trump and the Memorial Reflection Pool.
Right. The whole thing is
It's from
just
start,
bizarre, but definitely like him.
start to finish. This, I would suggest, historians someday may look at as the most typical of what Trump does in that area. So, to recap, most people know the story, but we'll just recap real quickly. Trump decides that really, well, it's part of his beautified D.C., which he said, he's actually said is a slum city. Remember, he said the White House was trash. Anyway, so they were going to drain the pool and they were to paint it blue. Okay. Well, first of all, blue would not reflect the monuments, which is the purpose of the.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if Trump didn't realize that. I don't know if he thought it was a swimming pool. I have no idea. So instead of putting it out to bid, he gives it to someone who had done his pools at his clubs. Well, they were swimming pools, okay? They weren't reflecting pools. This guy comes in.
And this thing is a very, very long pool. You don't have any Olympic
Oh,
pool.
no. You play a couple football.
You're getting water from the Potomac. That's how big it is.
Yeah. And so you have, I think the original cost was going to be 1.8 million.
Right.
But as with Trump, overruns, whatever, it ended up as a $14 million project. A no bid project, which is completely illegal on two levels.
Yeah, $14.2 million renovation.
Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, and that's as of then. We don't know what's going to happen then.
Well, that's as of now, right? So there were two completely unconstitutional, illegal. I like illegal rather than unconstitutional things. Number one, you cannot use a no-bid contract for that. And number two, the President of the United States cannot order that. Only Congress can make the changes to national memorials. Of course, it doesn't matter. So we get it. Now, suddenly science takes over. Remember, no scientists are consulted. Mm-hmm. Well, what they find out is the heat is now trapped in the pool. Blue is later, it was started. And of course, heat produces algae. So suddenly, it was no longer blue, it was basically green with algae. All right. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to bring back, and they had to bring back, Brian. They didn't have enough national park workers because, they'd fired them all to come and clean the pool.
That's ironic in itself.
Not enough because, National Park Service is a wonderful organization.
And his ass hired them pretty quickly, I guess, or rehired them quickly, should we say.
Well, yeah, because, this is so they're out there. Okay, fine. Well, because of the heat, nope, can't kill the algae. Damn it. So we're going to use hydrogen peroxide and pour that into the pool. Now, what happens with that? The paint begins to peel away from the bottom because with the reaction. So now you have these giant blue pieces of the pool floating to the top. It also is basically a poison for any animals there. So you've got ducks, the things that come down there. And as if that's not bad enough, okay, well, you know what? We need to guard that pool because now we get classic Trump. First, Trump says Antifa is out there.
Right.
The organization that doesn't exist. Then he says it's just vandals. Nobody's doing that. But he has established it is the largest presence of the National Guard.
He said there was nefarious chemical attacks.
Attack, right.
And yet there's been no forensic evidence of anything.
Well, there was.
Which we know is everything. It's bullshit.
The nefarious chemical attack was by his own people putting the chemicals in the water. But of course, he doesn't have any idea of the truth, or he doesn't care about the truth, or whatever. It doesn't.
And he accused Jonathan Karl, who's a reporter for ABC, of they just pick up one of these pieces of hardened epoxy with blue paint on it, and then all of a sudden it's just like we're gonna just stretch it and just say, okay, this is the vandal.
And we also
and then somebody cut a 250-foot slice. Now, who the hell is going to get in a pool that big and be able to slice through that?
Yeah. Well,
Especially, by the way, if I can interrupt, I mean, if I'm a normal human being, they say they painted it. Well, I would have thought they just painted it, and that you wouldn't slice paint. It would just you couldn't do it.
No. So anyway, Brian, I think I sent you some pictures. Let's
let's do that,
pictures are
shall
worth
we?
1,000 words. If you got it, put up the big picture first. The entire thing.
Sure.
We'll start with that.
Okay. It takes a couple seconds for it to.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so that was taken yesterday. Just to give you some idea of the size of the pool, if you haven't visited. Of course, that's the Washington Monument, and back behind that is the Capitol. You can see that there are people there, obviously walking around. And in the middle, it looks like fishermen, but they're not. They're cleaning the pool. That's the National Park Rangers that we had to bring back to put on to clean the pool. Now, one thing is, it does not look, right, Brian, at that distance, it's not green. It looks sort of bluish. But if you notice, nothing is reflecting in that pool, right?
Nothing.
Do you see any reflection?
Zero.
So obviously, zero, okay? Put them up in any order you want, Brian. I don't care.
All right. Okay. So everybody saw that. Okay. Next one.
All right. So there we have a shot, a little closer. And that is your reflecting pool. You've got workers in there, and you've got guards everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And so I thought
Probably
that
just to keep you away so you can't take pictures and see the truth.
Now notice, Brian, the color of the water now, much greener. As you get closer
No, I'm
to it, that's when
colorblind,
you.
so I have a tough time.
Well, no,
Yes.
but that is what happens. I mean, as you get closer, throw another one up, Brian.
All right, let me get rid of that one.
There, my friends, is what the pool looks like up close. For any non-scientific people, that is the algae in the pool, which is caused by the rising temperatures, which allows it to spread. Okay?
Not beautiful.
Not beautiful.
Unless
not
you're like a frog, maybe. I don't know.
Well, maybe Kermit would come in and say, it isn't easy being green, Kermit the Frog. But anyway, that is what, now, that's on the edges, and that's what they're cleaning up. But remember, they spend all day cleaning it. So in the morning, it's pretty algae covered, right? By the time we got there, it was about, 3 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. Throw up another one. I think we have about 3 more, something like that. There's what you see everywhere. It's not just National Guard. There are DEA there. There was Metro Police. There was Capitol Police. Kind of a cross section of the people who are supposed to keep us safe. Now I talk at length to the National Guard all the time, and for the most part, I don't view them the way I do ICE and some of the others. The National Guard there to do a duty. I did learn something, Brian, and I don't know. I didn't find out enough, but I was talking to a group at the pool, and they were from Louisiana, a group of 6 of them, and it was nice to know now it's only Louisiana. It's not, each National Guard is by state, but in Louisiana, they will send you, but if you need to go home, they also let you go. Like, you're not locked in. And so they're doing what they're told to do. Many of them are only 18 years old,
right,
because obviously they send the younger guardsmen. And they look so young, Brian. Of course, when you're 73, everybody looks young. But I mean, and I'll talk to them. I said, their experience, they are doing what they're told to do. So I don't view them as the enemy. I really don't. ICE, yes, ICE is different. U.S. Marshals are different, but the Guard are just really, if you talk, they're just young men, and they know, though, however, that one of them has been killed and one is crippled for life. This shooting earlier. Throw up another picture. Let's see what we got. I think we have a couple more.
I think we only have one more, but we got.
I guess I didn't send you the blue thing. I thought I did, but you can just. Oh, okay. This was interesting. So I was talking to some guardsmen, and this is what I see. That's my wife Judy talking to this. I assumed a Japanese tourist, right? But it was not. It was my new best friend, Kichi Nakani, and Kichi is the Washington correspondent for the Japanese news agency. And he will be here for 3 years. And he's working on his English. And I laughed. I said, well, your English is much better than my Japanese. But I did ask him one question. We're going to meet again and talk. But I said, you came here to America. You've been here. I think he's been here 4 months. So it'll be, or 6 months, I guess. So sort of came because of Trump. I mean, well, there would be somebody assigned anyway. But I said, what's been your biggest surprise? And he looked and he said, how many Americans support your president? So, nobody speaks for the world. Nobody speaks for their country. But Kiichi was, he's basically what he was saying in Japan. We don't understand it. We just don't understand it. And that's been pretty much universal of people that I've talked to have traveled. I won't be on the show for the next 2 weeks live because I'll be in Europe with my granddaughter.
You wonder if we still have a heat wave out there. I mean, it's really brutally hot.
Oh, well, what I'll do is I hope to get some interviews.
But you're good with hot weather.
I don't. Well, we joke about it.
I know you don't usually use air conditioning very much, do you? Or do you?
Yeah. What's a what now?
When you house, you hardly use it at all. I remember that.
I know. Yeah. Well, we didn't have it and all. We just had it in our bedroom because it was an older house. But no, just as a joke. But I mean, I feel you shouldn't be able to complain about both. So I complain about the cold and not the heat. Okay. But what I do have to do is talk to some people in France if they're willing to talk. And then if not, I'll file a report what it's like being in France and watch the president of the United States destroy your country, and what it's like being in Italy and watching the president of the United States. And I'm particularly looking forward because this week, again, Trump being Trump, created an international incident by claiming that the current prime minister, Minister Meloni of Italy, was begging was the word he used, for a picture with him. And she basically shot back and said, that is not true. Italians do not beg. And my job is to run with Italy, not to respond to creepy old men. It's basically.
Yeah, and he touched her too. It's like really, really strange. Like he's got to touch women. Well, he feels he can just do it.
Look, okay. Think about it, Brian, for a minute. I mean,
now if she had touched him, I would kind of understand. Like she's shaking, but when it's initiated by him without any acceptance, or request, I find that very, very creepy. I've always found that creepy.
Well, look, there is no question in my mind.
And I'm not a prude. I'm just saying I just find it creepy.
No, well, I'm not either. But there's no question in my mind that he had sex with underage women. And if the charges, if some of the charges are true, underage boys. There's no question that in the course of doing that, he was sadistic to some of the young ladies. Apparently, he might have a breast fetish. One claims, another one claims that she saw him do it. So there's two witnesses. He was like twisting this young girl's breast, and and demanding. There's that part of it. So he was creepy long before he was president. He was creepy long before he got dementia or senility or whatever it is that he's suffering from.
But a lot of people say, Dave, if we can just rewind just a little bit. You look at his life. He's always been kind of creepy, and he's always trying to hide the truth. So, I'm not so sure he has dementia. I just think he's that fucked up. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a,
No, and I don't either. What I do know is, even if you don't go, he is physically a far different president than he was the time before.
He was a lot better looking man when he was younger than he is now.
And you see now, all the time, he's needing help. I mean, on the recent European visit, at least 4 times, somebody had to help him from either falling or guiding him. There's that on numerous occasions now, he's walked away like in the middle of something. Obviously, he's falling asleep. I mean, that's not him lost in thought. Okay, that's the president of the United States.
Yeah, well, that's what they'll say, Dave. I mean, that's what
they did say that, and and it's amazing. Like they always have to. They now be a sycophants. And they literally, Brian, no, they don't literally, but they certainly figuratively suck his dick on a regular basis and kiss his ass, depending on what he wants. And for them, like Vance said, he's much different. Obama was not a smart man. This is Vance. But Donald Trump knows a lot of things about a lot of things. No, Donald Trump knows nothing about nothing, okay? it would be one thing, and they always have to.
Well, you have to admit,
protect.
Dave, that he is cunning. He's got a sense of how to manipulate.
I don't disagree with that, except
He does know what he's doing is wrong. I know that. He knows that.
No, I'm not. See now. I'm
You
gonna
remember
defend-
he had said about the grabbing the.
I'll go into heaven.
No, Fifth Avenue.
I somebody.
I could get away with it. So he knows just from that statement.
no, he-
it indicates that he knew.
Well, I think again. Now this is my take, and remember, I've been as wrong about Trump, more probably times than I've been right. Beginning with, I didn't think he could become president of the United States of America, but what you do find, I think, with him is certainly he is not self-reflective. He's not one who looks to the future. His immediacy.
Right, he is definitely in the present. That's part of that stream of consciousness. He is definitely in the present.
And that's where a narcissist, I kind of describe it now. His world is 6 inches from his nose. That's it, right? But because he's not a sophisticated thinker, he doesn't understand that what he faced in all those court cases before were civil actions, basically about bankruptcy or money, and civil court is far different. What he's doing now are criminal actions, and so far he's gotten away with them. Which again, just an update. I really this week, I said, what can we do to get rid of him? So I did extensive research. No, I did some research. And Brian, there are 4 ways. There's only 4 ways that a sitting president becomes an unsitting president. Okay. In no particular order. One way is to resign. That's what Richard Nixon did. Donald Trump
That's beneath
will not.
him. No.
Will not resign. He will not. Another is death, obviously. And then people say, well, what about health? Nope. Not in and of itself. But after some, the White House has had some health problems. I mean, Woodrow Wilson had a stroke. His wife ran the country. We don't know exactly when Reagan moved into Alzheimer's, but it was long before, he was that way in office. So we came up with the 25th Amendment. But the problem is the 25th Amendment has to be put in it politically. And right now, Donald Trump or the Republicans, whichever way you want to view it, control the presidency, the vice presidency, the cabinet, the Senate, the House, and the Supreme Court. So what would have to happen, the only group that I think would move on that would be possibly the House and the Senate. But nothing will happen with that unless one of 2 things happens. One would be that the members of the House or the members of the Senate that are up for re-election believe that Trump will cost them their election. They would then, out of self-preservation, I'm sure, do that. Now, that kind of mitigates the fear of, if we take on Trump, we're going to get killed. Well, we'll come back to that in a moment. The other thing would be if there is this blue wave that some are suggesting will happen, and the House and Senate will be taken over by Democrats in a majority enough that they don't need Republican support. Okay? And remember, one of the Democrats is now, even though he hasn't switched parties, John Fetterman now is a member of the GOP in voting. So one Democrat, we have to subtract one Democrat and give it to the other side. Okay. And then, of course, as we say, there is, so again, you look at it, resign, no. Death, possible. Impeachment with conditions. 25th Amendment with conditions. So there's no sure way right now that we will get rid of Donald Trump right now. A number of people, I'm sure you've run across them too.
The only thing is going to be Donald Trump is going to get rid of Donald Trump when he dies. That's how we're going to get rid of him.
Yeah. Now, interesting today, I was talking to a number of people just out on the street. This was Gay Pride weekend, and that's something, that was, I'll tell you what, Brian, that was encouraging me. That was very encouraging to me today, that they were able to hold it with Trump still president. He didn't want it. He wanted it stopped, and they weren't able to stop it. And I've been going for years, been here 15 years. I think I've probably been all 15 years, either on the Saturday or Sunday. It's a week long, but Saturday, Sundays are the big days. And The numbers were as large as they ever were, and there were some. That was kind of reassuring to me, but not enough to say democracy is safe. It isn't. It is not safe. As long as Donald Trump is in the White House, it is not safe. I'm going to go so far as to say that anybody currently in the Republican Party who became the president of the United States, it would still not be safe. Right. The difference might be a crazy man. The only difference, Vance is the hollow man. Vance is, nothing. Marco Rubio. Now you've got the warlord Lindsey Graham. A number of us were talking that Lindsey should have been out on the streets with us because Lindsey Graham is gay. I mean, there's no question about that. There's absolutely.
He's very effeminate. There's no doubt about that.
No. I mean, he is.
I mean, you and I don't care one bit if he's gay.
Oh, I don't care either.
But the fact that he hides it or he.
Well, I think two things
promotes a different lifestyle. I mean, I don't know.
No. I think the problem is it's the same with Christian nationalists or Christian fundamentalists. I don't care what you are, but when you start putting your views into law, a couple of asides this week, very discouraging asides. One was in Texas. I don't know if you were following it. Texas is very close to ordering and mandating the Bible be taught in every grade in Texas schools. There's a little thing called separation of church and state, which was very important.
They'll twist that too.
Well, no, they'll get it. Let's see, no, I'm sorry. It was Auburn University. For those who aren't familiar with Alabama education, the state of Alabama is divided. You're either with Alabama University or Auburn University. I mean, that's kind of, simplistic, but that's like the Democrats, Republicans, right? And Auburn, just this week, their board of regents, which is basically the wealthy people who sit on the board, eliminated the faculty senate. So there's no professorial input into any of the education at Auburn. It'll all come out of that group. So heaven help Auburn University. And, it's so, yes, it's Donald Trump, but it's more than that, Brian.
Right. He could not have done this without the advice, consent, help, just in general from these people. I mean, you cannot. He wouldn't know what to do. Like I said, he's cunning, but he doesn't know all the facts. He had to have people, with the Heritage organization.
Oh yeah, well, Heritage is his think tank. They did
they do the thinking
plan
for him.
Yeah, and of course, if it's so hard, it's like trying to identify the tallest Zulu or the shortest pygmy. But if I had to say the worst advisor to Trump, it's Stephen Miller, in my belief, with Steve Bannon coming up a close.
So Hegseth has caused a lot of problems.
But you know what? I don't think Trump pays attention to Hegseth at all. I really don't.
Right, but Hegseth is so stupid. I could, it's like behind the scenes, like with this thing with the reflection pool, you can bet that Trump made his call to. To whomever did that,
Hegseth will say yes. I mean, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, he's a weak person, Hegseth. He's going to be a minion for him, and yeah, absolutely.
And again, there are a few things in life I know a little bit about. One, and being an alcoholic and a recovering alcoholic and drug addict, when you say, as Hegseth did, I will stop drinking if I get the job, and he said that. He has a drinking problem because that's something that somebody with a drinking problem says.
Right, because he drinks for a reason, and it's not just that he likes the taste of alcohol. There's got to be something behind him.
There's more to it than that. So what we have here now, I can understand somebody viewing this either live now or like say for.
And by the way, most of our views are not live now. Most of them, we've done fairly well of late, and most of it's after the fact.
And that's fine. But what I can understand saying if I'm in Wyoming or I'm in Alabama, we have problems here too. I'm not trying to say that we have a market on the problems in Washington D.C., but because it's here and. That's kind of and it's not even he's running test cases on this. It's just when he sees something. Okay, they had this kind of slipped under the radar. This was February maybe. So he'd been in office, a few weeks. And, well, I guess it was March, actually, because you could play golf. Anyway, he was headed out to, a golf course here. And there was a homeless encampment, actually kind of located between the Kennedy Center and the Lincoln Memorial. Because that's about a little bit less than a mile, about 8/10 of a mile. So in that 8/10 of a mile, there was, and it was good because they were tents. You could send health care there. You could feed them there. Of course, it was not something necessarily that you would want approved. And he said, horrible. They went in, and I think honestly, it's hard to say what his least humane action was, but this might be it. Many of the residents of that were out doing what they have to do. They were out panhandling money, right? So they weren't in the camp. The troops came in and they burnt everything in the camp. Could have been your college yearbook. It could have been the picture of your dead wife. It didn't matter. They took it as if they were diseased lepers and burned it out. Now, what was accomplished? They're now spread out over the city. Again, not a unique problem to Washington, D.C., but we know that someone like Trump not only doesn't care about the homes. And it's not just Trump. Elon Musk, a trillionaire now. That is a disgrace that any human being but it's worse because he is directly responsible for some of the cuts that have killed almost 300,000 children in the world. And he goes to bed at night. Now, I'm sorry, I'm not going to get into a debate about religion, but that doesn't do a lot to assure you that there's a just God out there, for sure. But the other thing is, how do you go to bed at night? And because he doesn't care. Bezos doesn't care. Thiel doesn't care. They don't care. They're it's not that they're not human, it's that they don't function with any signs of humanity. Musk has said, and I'm sure Trump believes this, empathy is a disease that is destroying Western civilization. No, empathy is the thing that makes us human and keeps us civilized, okay? So it's not only that they're wrong, they're actually doing that. And there are many young people, and I understand this, who just have bought into that idea of money is everything, and they actually worship, not as a god, but they, as a hero role model. They pick these people, and all of them should be in prison, no question. Now, will they get there? I don't know. I was talking to one of the workers. She's really a good person. She didn't do any activism till she came to University of Maryland. She just finished her freshman year. She's down working all the time at Flair now. And it's interesting because, she's young and developing, but a group was talking today there about, what they hope would happen with Trump. And one took the stand, I just want him to die. And she took an interesting stand, which a lot of people do. She says, no, I don't want him to die. I want him to be charged with all and be arrested. I think the problem with that is, that's fine, but he's not going to be put in Gen Pop. It's not going to happen. And so he will have much better accommodations than Giselle.
That's where the Democrats, even if the Democrats, regain power, I can see them, making deals and letting him slip through.
We got some problems there. Cory Booker, your senator, when I say a senator for your state, is being viewed as a viable Democratic candidate. Okay, fine. Because when I was at the museum, I was able to, not become friendly with, but Cory would come in, or Senator Booker would come in, and we'd get a chance to talk, sometimes. And I think he's, overall, but there's just something about him that he's very political, right? Obviously, but he's not sort of like this, sort of like the same way I have a reservation about Newsom. But anyway, I don't know if you saw, they put out a list of, I think it's 200 of the world's makers and shakers and this kind of thing who are going to Peter Thiel's retreat. Cory's name is on there. Now, okay, Cory. Now, could it be
What's
they put his...
supposed to mean?
Well, maybe look, there's many things. He could go undercover. Literally. But I do know that one of the knocks, and it shouldn't be, but it is is he takes a lot of pharmaceutical money, and he does, because New Jersey is one of the pharmaceutical capitals of the world. If you don't get that money,
He has
you're not.
addressed that, though. I mean, I forget what he said about it, but it was
Well,
it
but I'm just
seemed
saying, well, it's basic. It's
reasonable.
basic.
He said
Well,
basically, I think he said something to the effect that, I accept money, but it doesn't mean I vote for them.
Okay.
Now, I don't know. I'm just saying what he's saying.
No. I mean, that sounds good, but nobody gives you money without expecting
He
something.
said something like, I'm not in. I mean, I'm trying to
No,
paraphrase.
no.
It was that he's
Well,
not
I
indebted
said-
to vote for them.
It's the same thing. The first rule of a politician is to win. The question becomes, how far will you go to win, right? Well, if you don't have money, you're not going to win. And pharmaceutical money is pharmaceuticals are one of the driving industries in New Jersey. Same thing with Bernie. As much as I admire Bernie Sanders, he does not have the best track record of not supporting the NRA. He's more of a supporter. Why? Because you don't get elected if you're in that state. So, this purism that some people want, and you've mentioned it on numerous occasions, we've talked to people like that. It's just not, you have to find out where your line is. I mean, and everybody's line is a little bit different. So I've been doing a lot of talking tonight, but that's because it happened in DC. So your thoughts for the week? What do you have? What did you see? Something we didn't talk about?
Well, certainly
something?
nothing has surprised me. You asked me about what I was thinking was going to happen with Iran last week or 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I'm certainly not surprised. I tell you, because first of all, you have two bad actors.
No.
You can't trust either one. So this was like we've talked philosophically, Dave, about when evil, in the end, evil can't win because evil will destroy evil. It's like two bad kids in the class. Eventually, they're going at it. That's why they don't want to go to prison, because they know they're going to start fighting each other.
Right.
And then you have talks with two countries when they're essentially four countries, four sovereign countries, where you might argue that maybe Lebanon is a vassal of Iran because of Hezbollah, but you have four separate countries involved in the situation, and you only have two that are actually at the table, and they're dictating what's going to happen. And again, then you have two bad actors negotiating. And you know what Trump's doing? I mean, Trump is trying to. He is just desperate because he knows the entire Republican Party will put pressure on him about prices. They want to have those because they know. I don't know the exact number of weeks, but within the next 4 to 6 weeks, the supply of oil is going to be so low that they're not going to be, because I know they have. I think it's in Oklahoma. There's a place where they have a large inventory
reserve.
and they can't go reserve and lower than 20 million barrels because they can't pump it if it goes below. So they have to leave 20 million in there, and at some point, there's not going to be enough to pump that they can control the price, and that's when the prices go up. So I'm thinking this is where Trump has put himself in a corner, because if he does want to make a deal, he's got to make a deal within the next 4 weeks, and he's got to get everything moving. And if he can't do it, then he's got to put boots on the ground, because you can win in Iran, but you're going to have to. How are you going to get everybody there? You can't do it. It would take years to win a war. You'd win, but it's. So I think it was such an absurd thought. It was not thought through. We all know that right now. But I don't see where he's going to go with this. I
think you pointed out the key problem, besides bad actors, is the fact that two nations are trying to decide for four nations.
And they're four sovereign nations. It's not like
I said that, and they are powder kegs. Israel is run by a war criminal. Netanyahu is a war criminal. That is not being anti-Semitic. It's just being a straight statement. Now,
but you could also say Lebanon has war criminals in Hezbollah. That is control.
Hezbollah is a terrorist organization.
They're lobbing missiles left and right. They do not abide by pacts.
No, and they won't.
They won't. So now that's where you have it. There's no solution.
I don't think there'll ever be a solution to the Middle East, but I think the best solution for America is the least involvement possible. That's the best solution. Now, if you're
in this case, it would have been better not to do anything than to do something.
Or again, you say, wait a minute,
or win, but you can't.
Well, or let Israel help Israel win. I mean, We should have
I
helped
don't
Ukraine.
think,
We should
aside
have
from
helped-
nuclear weapons, you can't. Iran's too big of a country. I even
Right.
think for the United States, you can't do it with an aircraft carrier. You can't do it with 11 aircraft
Oh,
carriers.
no.
You have to put a million soldiers. You'll win. You will win.
But at what cost? And
At
for
what
how
cost?
long?
Right.
The day you pull out, remember.
And by the way, how many young Republicans do you think would be willing to go to the front? I mean,
About 2,
4,
if
okay.
that.
We won't see Barron there.
No.
And by the way, we can't take a shot at him now. He's over 18, so fuck him.
Yeah. Well, we could do it anyway because it's not.
No, it's a horrible situation, Dave. It's because
But-
he's either
but
going to
it's-
have to acquiesce to Iran or he's going to have to. But again, we're on a timeline now. I mean, I think I'm right. 4 to 6
don't-
weeks.
I
That
don't
oil,
disagree with that.
you can't keep up with it, and that's when the prices really go up.
Now,
So he's got to open that thing up in the next couple of weeks.
And if somebody wants really another reason not to sleep tonight, indications from Pentagon are that we've depleted our capability to defend ourselves too.
Right. We don't know how many bombs were dropped because that happened to Russia too.
And that. So, I mean,
Those are guided missiles. Those are expensive missiles.
no question about it. And what we're finding again, and I wish we were talking about peace, but I don't know that we'll ever be able to talk about that as long as human beings are human beings. But Ukraine basically has changed warfare.
Yes, they have. Well
They've
said.
If
Changed completely.
if you have the ability to produce quality drones, which just about every country could have if they, they worked at it. I mean, they're holding off the Russian military.
You can't even use a tank anymore, essentially.
No. Well, drones. Well, look at this. Okay, so we're talking about earlier, and this is it's fascinating because again, you can't believe anything, but apparently there appears to have been an extensive plot on the night of the UFC, and here's what the plot.
Too, yeah.
Here's what the plot planned. They were going to use drones to terrify and force everybody out, and they were going to have snipers positioned in the only couple ways you were out, and that was what happened. Now, excuse me. Again, the FBI supposedly they arrested 4. I think there's like 9 or 10 that they wanted to get, but again, Kash Patel, being the only thing good about Kash Patel is he has those wide eyes, and that's not even good. It's inhuman. He, before the arrests were made, came out and said about this, and they were still investigating and circulating it. But here's the thing: they were a right-wing organization. They were not Antifa.
Right. I do remember that now.
They were Trump supporters at one point who felt that he had not carried through, and their biggest thing was the Epstein files. There's a thing about how does this? Pedophilia is big in the Republican Party. I'm sorry. Okay, you look at the last.
Well, it's big in the
17
church. Like something 13% of Methodist ministers have done.
Well,
some
that's what I'm
type
saying. That's you're fine, but it's also abhorrent in that same group as it should be. Mm-hmm. And they took, if this is true, if it's being reported truly and factually, this group, a little naive, I think, to be able to pull it off. But what the hell is that?
Somebody's calling
Wait a
you,
minute, it's
Dave.
Donald Trump. Hold on just a minute here. I think it's Donald Trump. No, Mr. Trump. No. Mr. Trump. No. Mr. Trump. No. Up. Sorry. Right, that was Donald. He's calling me back.
You might as well talk to the guy on the phone here. We're all just wondering who's on the other end.
No. Oh, I know.
Is it
I'll tell you.
Mr. Spam?
I will tell you what it is. Next week.
But you got to truthfully tell us.
I am going to tell you. Okay. Stormy Daniels. Jesus Christmas, Donald.
Okay, that's the third one. Is he turn off his phone or not? Who knows? It's a nice way to end the show, eh?
Anyway, next week, as part of the 7 days that Flair is going to be active here in doing this, Stormy Daniels is going to be part of that. And we were basically discussing.
You're really following her still. I mean, how did you know?
Well, no,
that?
I do. Well, I do, because it's just
You're not
strange.
creepy, are you, Dave?
No, I'm not. No, not creepy. But what's funny is, I mean,
Like I
think,
can just imagine like this book. I love Stormy Daniels. I love Stormy Daniels. I love
well,
Stormy
no.
Daniels. Can I ask you a real quick question? Have you actually
Sure.
ever seen a porno video with Stormy Daniels?
I've never seen it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, now we have faith in you, Dave. Okay, not that
Stormy
you don't
Daniels.
have to.
Oh no, I've seen a lot of porno videos. It's just,
No, I understand that, but I only say Stormy Daniels.
no, and all kidding aside, well, there's certain things that happen, but the big thing is she really was one of the first to take on Trump. As
Are you talking
you know,
about
again,
sexually or?
Oh no, I'm talking about fighting back,
Right,
and
okay.
getting the thing and this and that and the other. And I've heard her speak and I've been in her presence, and she did sit naked on my lap. But the idea of it is she's not a stupid woman. She's really not. And so it's kind of interesting, kind of the porn star versus the president. That's what fascinates me. And she's not.
And this
perfect.
should never even have happened if we had a normal presidency.
Well, there you are.
I mean, again, we're
that's-
not prudes, but it's just not something that a president
Well,
is supposed to in
it's
the
not
United
something-
States, at
no.
least.
Now he left
Maybe
me
in
a
France
message.
or Italy.
Now he left me. Trump just won't leave me alone. Anyway, we have. Let's see. You have. You have. What should I say? When you say not normal, the problem is it's sort of like they always say. It's not the crime. It's the cover-up.
Cover-up,
which
right.
is worse. And this was the first time when Trump was running for president that there was a cover-up. Now that should have introduced us. That this is what we're going to get. As I've said before, for what it's worth, I can actually understand, Brian, someone voting for Donald Trump the first time. I disagree with them. I
Right,
think
by
they were
accident,
wrong.
they could be convinced that he's going to change something.
I mean, and again, it is hard. If you've been a lifelong Republican, you're not going to. In fact, I only know of two people. One taught with us, and his father is still a devout. Is what
I know who you're
serving
talking
as
about, yes.
a really kind of high-ranking politician in New Jersey, or in southern New Jersey, and I give him credit. His son, the moment. I mean, he just and now has been extremely vocal against Trump. And the other is my brother-in-law. He did vote for him the first time. He's been a lifelong Republican. His wife, who subsequently died, but she was just as leftist as he, and he wasn't a rightist. It was just it was money for him. It was money for him. It was this, that, and the other. Now, if it's money for you, Donald Trump is taking more of your money than anybody's ever taken before.
Well, he's taking your life, basically.
Well, yeah. That, Jeff, should get a huge group of people to go pee in the out-reflecting pool. It's funny you should mention that. One of the things today, the group at Flair we're talking about is, what can we do about that? Do you send a group up of 100 people and all put your hands in the water at the same time? Will they arrest 100 people? What if 100 people or more went up there and peed in the pool? I mean, you just don't.
Well, I'm sure Trump would actually like that because they see, this is what I told you, people are vandalizing.
Yeah, see, that's where you have to be careful.
Right. There, yeah. And somebody will be
Here's-
stupid enough to do something. Right.
Here's the real bottom line with Donald Trump. It's not normal. That's all. You can just stop right there. It's not normal. And so therefore, the normal ways of fighting aren't necessarily the best ways, of doing it. And the damage that he's done, as I said, I spent some time Flair this weekend, and young people mostly, some old people too, come up and they'll talk about, and almost every one of them, Brian, has a story, which we all have, about family, being split, mothers not talking to daughters, sons not talking to fathers. Trump has polarized the country more than anything, definitely more, and I say this with certainty because I was there, much more deeply than the Vietnam War or civil rights did.
Right.
Much more. Now, I can't speak to the Civil War because I wasn't here. And I can't speak to the American Revolution.
And in
because
those days, that's probably the only way it was going to be solved. It was just the way just through brute force. Now it gets so much more manipulative and use different methods. So it's I think it's just as bad. I mean, who knows? Look, whatever it is, we could lose our country. And in a certain sense, we already have.
Well, that's the thing.
Because the good side won in 65. We haven't won anything yet.
And that
Until
is
we
absolute,
do, we haven't won this war. And he's been
and
winning for, what, 10 years now or whatever?
well, even if he's not winning, we're losing. If that makes any
Right.
sense.
Well, that's
You
the
know?
whole point, yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, the result is the same. And there's just a part of me, but I got to get over that part, Brian. There's a part of me that thinks if you're going to be evil, you have to be cunning, you have to have some smarts, and you don't. Donald Trump proves that. I think what you said, I think his narcissism allows him, his lack of empathy. Look, today, okay, simple. Well, I'll close with this for me. Today is Father's Day. Now, we can sit here and argue artificial holiday should be your father. Do you know who didn't send any greetings to their children? Donald J. Trump. You know who didn't send any greetings that we know of to their father? Donald J. Trump's children. End of story. I mean, you could point out, well, the Facebook post. No, you mentioned that. And also the contrast, Brian, that's another thing this week showed. We had the New York Knicks, well, three contrasts. One, the Knicks winning. Yes, I'm a homer for them because they have three Villanovans on there. But the idea of what that did to the city, that was a good part of sports, okay? That brought that city together. Trump, of course, is associated with that because he goes to the one game they lose.
They lose, right? And then they deserve to lose.
And he's
that
also
game.
said with, now we're going to see how much power there. James Dolan, who is the owner of the Knicks, is a personal friend of Trump's, as close as you can be. You know,
Oh,
I
really?
mean, in terms
Okay.
of. You know. So Dolan personally invited him to the game. It was, you know, he didn't just show up. Now his office might have but anyway, and of course they lose. Well, now initially the reports were the Knicks were going to do what every NBA championship team has done: refuse to go to the White House. Dolan came out with a statement and said, "We are going to the White House." Trump's dividing. I mean, Trump's dividing.
That's what happened with the Eagles 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, he's dividing a championship team. You know, so what do you do? I mean, you know, that's Trump. Okay, that's one. Secondly, excuse me, we have the pool, which we talked about tonight, and all these things that he just continues to do. Again, I keep saying this, but it's kind of true. The Hollies, the great British invasion group who birthed Graham Nash, gave us Graham Nash.
Right, he left them. That's right.
He left them, and went with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and the rest they say is history. But they had a song, King Midas, in reverse. And Donald Trump, I've never encountered anyone who has the ability to turn everything they touch into shit. Name one thing he's been successful at and hasn't fucked up, and it's not out there. It's not out there.
No.
It doesn't matter. Family, friends, it's just.
That's what I say with this whole thing with Iran. It's going to be a complete failure in whatever way. Most likely in high gasoline prices. And
then again, another thing.
Nothing solved. He doesn't solve anything.
Well, because
he
he's
creates
not capable.
problems.
Exactly. And then he tries to pretend that he solved the problems he created.
Right.
But the solutions don't,
And he'll just blame it on Biden.
Well,
it's Biden's
and there comes a point, and some people point that out. Wait a minute, you've been president for what, roughly 6 of the last 10 years, right? Roughly, 2 years.
And he's had the support of the GOP while he wasn't president.
Exactly. The other thing that I think is very important that shows another side of America is the fact, I don't follow the World Cup like some people, but I follow loosely. And American cities have really adopted the foreign teams, right? And they're like in Boston, they actually drank the city out of a couple types of beer. I mean, think about it. That doesn't happen in Boston. But and you've got this kind of, and then you've got the great stories coming out, like the one keeper from a country I didn't even know existed, Cape Verde. I didn't even know that was a country. It's an island country off Africa, I guess. And anyway, the keeper, who's 41 years old, way past her prime, had what would be considered the game of a lifetime. 7 major saves, not just little ones, right? And but his mother couldn't be there because they couldn't pay enough for the thing to get her in. People rose to the occasion and raised the money, and she's now here. That's the side of America.
Nice.
That's the side of
I'm
America.
sorry, I don't follow soccer, so I
No,
don't.
and I no, I understand.
I'm
that.
so
What I'm
used
saying-
to physical hand contact sports, I just can't wrap it. But I get it. It's it's the most popular sport.
Well, I
in
mean,
the world.
but what my point is not about sports. My point is that's showing two things. It's showing America's good characteristics, and Trump's involvement shows America's bad characteristics. And that's where you are. Trump is involved in the Knicks. Trump is involved in the World Cup. Trump is keeping people away from our country, meaning deliberately or by that. Canadian travel was down what? I think almost 80. Our Canadian friends would know, but I think it's down almost 80%.
It's a lot. There's no doubt about that.
And it affects. I mean, it does affect that. We are. I just saw a survey or a study, not a survey, of the 41 considered 41. Yeah, excuse me. Let me do this again. 41 nations in the world are considered Western civilization places, right? We were the only one that tourism dropped this year.
Good.
And
And,
there's
you know,
Donald
it
Trump.
has to go down, Dave. I think if anything we could say about this show is it like if something can be corrected, it's got to get so bad that the other side
and there you are.
capitulates.
And you know, we've known some. What should you say? I don't even know. Not what they were, but they believe, in burning everything down, in that kind of way. I don't agree with that. I think you need to have something to build on. But what is good is big if we get rid of Trump. I don't think that's an if. Someday we're going to get rid of him. I mean, it does. That's just a given. I don't mean he's going to die. He won't. Whatever. But we will have seen about the worst that you can do to democracy.
Right.
And if we don't build back better, then shame on us. Shame on us.
And he should be looked upon in our history, not the books, whatever they have in the future, as an aberration.
Well, it's yes, and I really, you know what?
We know we've had characters, but not like this.
I'm going to say that he is an aberration, and and the America we have right now is an aberration. And this will expose, if you want to run the country this way, this is what you're going to get.
Right.
And if that's what America wants, that's their choice.
Anybody who says, we have to have a businessman run so we have a tight ship,
Well,
forget it.
Well, I've never agreed with that simply because, the old thing, do you want your plumber operating on your heart? No,
Right.
you don't.
No, you don't want that.
And so you don't want a businessman. Business and government are two very different
things. One's got to be you're worried about your customer in the sense that you actually care, and the other one is you're trying to get something from your customer.
Yeah. And maybe, some of this...
And your worker.
We don't know. We don't know where the future is going to land. But I think I'm sorry for everyone who died. I'm sorry for all the pain that he has put Americans through. But this may be, at the end, our chance to make it better.
And remember, Dave, though, a lot of people have died since he's taken office, so they never did see the resolution. Like
oh no,
Carl
well,
Reiner
we've talked about that.
You know.
We might not see it. I mean, not that I'm planning to go tomorrow, but it may take a decade after he's out of there. And some
Carl
things.
Reiner. Who's his son? Rob Reiner, I should say.
Yeah. So anyway.
So are you optimistic or pessimistic, Dave? Bottom line. Or the same.
I've never frozen before. I'm gonna freeze for just a second and think about it. Normally I think about it before.
You should definitely choose pessimistic if you have to think. Because
I know I am more pessimistic, but there's just the one thing that keeps me optimistic is Trump keeps fucking up. There's no hope. There's no hope that he can do anything to pull
COVID
anybody
fucked up. The war is fucked up.
Everything. And so from that, I'd be more worried.
Election fucked up.
Oh, well, I'd be more worried.
East Wing fucked up.
If he could touch something that he didn't fuck up. You know what I mean? Or there's a chance of him rebounding. Okay, which there isn't. Okay, there isn't. He cannot get any more. His 32 to 36%, depending on who, is solid, but that's not enough to win the presidency.
Right, and fuck him anyway.
But in this time, why am I more pessimistic? Because the same reason I'm optimistic, if that makes any sense. He is, in my I mean, this is just my belief, and I don't care what anybody else believes. We are being run by someone who is insane.
Right.
And if there's a job that you don't want the person holding to be insane, it's the president of the
Presidency.
United
It's
States.
even more than a nuclear, power
Yeah,
plant
and-
regulator. You
Oh,
need to have. He has the fingers on the button. He makes decisions, and look what we have here. It's just complete
And the
shit.
third thing I didn't say the third thing that gave me not optimism was the contrast between Obama opening his center and Trump. Trump is fucking up everything. I'm glad I'm not going to be here actually, even though I'm going to miss the protest.
But you are going to send us some videos from.
Oh yeah, no,
Europe.
I'll send that. But July, everything he. But again, being musical oriented, you think about who he could get, and he came down to what? I think there were two groups that would perform for him, and if you look at the performers that came to the Obama Center, they're among the greatest around. John Legend, Bruce Springsteen, Bono, and Edge. I mean, the difference
The contemporary
is
music heroes. He doesn't have that.
he doesn't have anything. He has.
I mean, to invite Vanilla Ice, who even at the time when he was somebody, wasn't really
Well, you know
liked.
what? Well, Vanilla Ice
Ice.
was a sham, but the big one was
Milli
Milli Vanilli.
Vanilli, yeah.
And they're the perfect group for Trump
Right.
because
it's all
they
funny.
were frauds,
Right.
and he was fraud. And then, of course, his favorite group of all time, right now, is the Village People, which is high irony.
Right.
Okay,
Very high
because they are the national group first group adopted by gay America, and of course, Trump is anything but that. So, all these things, it's back. But to end that, more pessimistic this week because I just think this with his insanity, he's going to do some more damage. I don't know what it is, and we're not going to get out of it.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean,
Yeah,
to end
sure.
this show, because I did talk about that 4 to 6. We don't know specifically, but we know there's a window of how long this can go on with the strait being closed before the inventories start, not being able to cover. You have peak oil happening right now.
Right.
Do you think that we're going to get to that point where we're not going to be able to catch up with oil, or do you think that he's going to capitulate, and it looks like he wants to capitulate, and they're going to open it up?
Brian, you said it best. He can't do anything else. He can't win
Right.
in Iran.
He either
So
he can. He's going to have to
So
capitulate.
he has to. Now, what he will do is try to twist and turn that into a victory,
Right.
but he can't. And the only way, there's only one way that we get out of this problem of oil, and it's still a problem. But I mean,
And don't use the fucking oil. We got to move to renewables.
You know who's not using the oil right now?
China, right? And they're the
They're
big
leading-
winners in this situation.
Well, China walks away. Yes, absolutely. But just to finish that oil question, the idea would be we know for fact, we know that we have limited reserves. Okay.
Right, and they've been using the emergency reserve, and that's going down.
And what I'm saying is,
And
so
he
you've
gave
already-
Biden shit for doing that, which we understand why they do it. It helps, lower the price.
but not, this is so. If, and I don't, it's all about the Straits of Hormuz, right? I don't see any way that Iran will permanently keep that open. I don't. If that doesn't happen, the oil doesn't get here.
Well,
If the
and
oil
then
doesn't-
how does the United States protect that and keep it open? I don't know how they do it, because somebody could just take a projectile from the beach, and then you can't stop that shit.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. So in that case, again, I think he just has to capitulate
He's going to have to capitulate.
because
Either that, or it's
Iran-
going to go up. He's got
Iran,
4 weeks,
right
and he
now-
knows it. Why do you think they went over there so quick? It was literally, one little skirmish, and they even said it wasn't a big skirmish. They're there. They're there. They've got to end this thing. He's dying to end this thing.
But then there's another side to that. Do you think Iran will stop? You know what I mean? That's
Well,
another
I
thing.
can't. Well, look, you know what? I don't trust. I mean, we've been,
Of course
you know,
you don't.
we don't want to give them any type of thing, make them look good. Just because Trump is horrible, they're horrible. I mean, they've got theocracy. There's just
I would- I would-
they lie. They're just they kill
And
their
they
own
have-
people, and they're still doing it. And Trump
and they
says,
have-
"Oh, they're
and they
not
have-
that bad." They're
okay.
killing their own people. They had an all-star wrestler who's 18 who was making some complaint. They fucking decapitated
I mean,
him.
we know that, and we know with women, the discussion.
Right.
But in all that, and we touched about that briefly, the idea of the Middle East right now, I don't have a solution for it. There hasn't been a solution for thousands of years.
Well, I'll tell you
Okay.
one, and you guys, nobody likes it, is it, that's it. We're done with religion. We're just done with religion. And then from there, we can move on. Okay? Because we all have to grow up. We all have to grow up.
I would not
And don't wear the
disagree.
fucking, if there's a God, don't wear the fucking seatbelt because you're going to get to your heaven sooner.
I don't disagree with you. I just think that, and I understand what you're saying. And it
Madeline
would
Mary
help.
O'Hare was right.
No, it would, but I don't think human beings are ready to not have the invisible hand.
Right. But you see,
So
that's
they're just not going to do it. They're
it's
logically.
well, how long are we going to wait? We're going to say these
We're
people.
not, Brian, you're not. God, religion.
It's never, if we don't do something, there's no excuse for this shit.
Religion will be here until the last person is gone. And I'm not saying that's good. I'm saying that's the
That's
way
exactly right, Anthony. It is
And-
the
and
opiate
boy,
of the mass.
Well, and,
Marx was right about that.
Marx said, well, look, that's another thing, too. Is democracy the best form of government? The ancient Greeks, who invented democracy, if you will, said no. A benevolent dictator is the best form of government, but there is no such thing.
No such thing.
There is no such thing as a benevolent dictator. So, and communism on paper is fine. Socialism on paper is even better. But again, human beings, whether it's religion, whether it's government, whether it's business, they just have a way. Trump has the ultimate way of fucking things up, but human beings,
Well, like, I'll give you that. I mean, even without religion, human beings are a really perplexing organism because it's just.
and if you think about it, I was thinking about this the other day. We're running over, but that's fine. You don't care.
Well, it's not that fine, but yeah, it's better than last week and the week before.
No, but the idea I'm thinking about when you bring that up is I think it's an important question. I was actually thinking about that today. I'm fine with anybody having a religion, whatever they want,
Right. That's fine.
as long as they don't
Don't
do two
preach
things.
it. Don't preach it.
One-
the minute
one
you
is-
preach, then you got a problem.
One is, yes, a religion, the spirituality part of religion is a personal thing. Religion is a group of people and they don't go together. Okay, they don't. Because what will happen, the group will either decide it's us versus them, right? Or we're right. I mean, it's so stupid, but think about it. If you believe abortion is a sin, okay, I'm fine with that. But you don't have the right to dictate that to everyone because not everyone is going to agree with you. So
Yeah,
what
nobody
do you-
agrees with your God and what is
and
right
what-
and what's wrong.
Right. And so what do you do? If you believe abortion is a sin, don't have one.
Right.
Or today I was thinking, well, actually what we're thinking about, we're talking, sing, and again, I don't know the numbers, but it was thousands of gay men and women in Washington, D.C. on Pennsylvania Avenue. I mean, thousands, not 10,000, but much more than 1,000. And I'm thinking, people are upset about their lifestyle. Why? I mean, pedophilia I'm upset with. Why do I care what two consenting people do or what they want now? Is it on that? I don't know.
Well, I think part of it is the religious people, especially the evangelicals, they are very, very jealous of people having a good time for some reason because they're not having it.
I mean, it would be.
I mean, can I use an analogy? It's kind of like, you're in your college dorm and the guy next to you, you hear the noise going next door and you're alone. Is that, well, he's the lucky guy, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they don't like that. If they're not going to have fun, you're not going to have fun.
Well,
which is why they say if you don't agree with us, we say we're the religion of peace. But if you do not agree with us,
Oh, it's all
You are going to hell.
And-
You've
and-
got to believe the way we
and
believe.
you know, we
And that
again,
itself is a real.
we suffer. I mean, there's many things we suffer from as a nation, and it's questionable whether to get out of it. In no particular order, the genocide of Native Americans. That's what it was. It was a genocide. Slavery. And the third was the Puritans and their lasting impact on America.
America. Okay. Yeah.
And you put now today there's other religious groups that do that. And again, I think, and this is keep thinking about this. You know, I laugh because my other hero besides Stormy Daniels is Pope Leo, because he went to Villanova and I went to Villanova and we went in the same decade. But I think it will be interesting to see these three things come together, Brian. Trump.
We have to do it in a
Hopefully-
minute, Dave, because I am going to have to knock off.
No, I'm going to keep you all night. Trump, Pope Leo, and AI. That's going to be an interesting trio to see how that develops.
Right.
And that's the future.
Well, AI, I would agree with that. I'm not too worried about Pope Leo. He seems to be a decent enough guy, but he
All right,
doesn't.
ladies and gentlemen, remember, Brian will be
Mind
available for consultation on any and all of your problems
Okay.
after 5 p.m. on Wednesday.
Okay.
If you're having money problems, he's very well off. If you're having religious problems, he's probably not the one to go to. But
Right,
money,
okay.
he will help you with any money worries
Okay.
you're having.
All right, Dave. Enjoy your trip, and we're going to get some nice videos. And you're going to send them while you're there, correct?
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
You know, we want to keep
even
up to
worst
date, so
case,
we do have a
even-
show.
Even if it's worst case, it'll be me with a naked statue of David.
And maybe, who knows, maybe you'll be able to pull off a show from France or something like that.
Probably not, because of the time change and what we're doing. I mean, the time difference.
Well, 8 hours, you know, you could.
Well, we'll see. Like
You
I
know?
said,
All right.
I have to be honest. I have
All
to be
right.
honest. This show is
At least
important.
get the
I'm
video
very
to
dark.
us, okay?
Yeah, I'll get it to you. And again, just remember, as Brian always says, the show, we're not monetized. We don't care about money. And so if you're having money woes after Wednesday, 5 p.m., Brian is your guy.
Okay. All right. This guy. All right. This is what I dealt with every year of my existence with him. So it's nothing new.
Oh,
So-
speaking of which, I do have news for you.
Yes?
This is what Devin, you remember Mike?
Yes.
Put a bid on a house in your neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we'll have to
Same
see.
street or just different?
Different street.
All right.
Oh, it is the same. Yeah, it is the same street. It's the Wachowski property.
White House went on the market.
Yeah, it just went on the market yesterday, and he's already put a bid.
I don't
in.
know where that is.
So what I'm hoping for is like he'll get it, and I'll just come there and terrorize you. That's what I'm hoping for. But we'll see.
All right. Don't tell him not to ride his mini bikes or whatever he drives around there.
All right, man.
All right. See ya.